Welcome to the Michiana Business Podcast, where we put local legends and businesses in the spotlight for everyone in our area to see. If you love small businesses and success stories, then you're in the right place. You're listening to the Michiana Business Podcast with your friends, hosts, and owners of industrial office cleaning right here in Michiana, Caitlin and Alonzo Perdomo.
My other question that I have for you, how do you guys deal with let's say different cultures like Latino speakers or from other countries? Do you guys also bring aboard, or how does that work for you guys? Say like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to speak or write. Do you guys take those people, or how does that?
Oh yeah. If you live in Indiana and you're 18 and don't have a diploma, you're in. That's it. We are a free public school. So those are our only qualifiers. We have had students, in fact, the one I mentioned to you earlier that's doing really well at IUSB, spoke very little English when they first started. We have had students who have varying needs for whether it be language or learning disabilities or what have you. Everybody, what I tell our teachers all the time is that if a student is willing to walk through the door, we're going to make them smarter one way or the other. And it's up for the students to realize their own potential. I want to give students every opportunity they can to show us what they got. Some students max out. Most students, if they keep pushing and keep pushing and keep trying, they figure out a way somehow or another. Those are the students that have a special place in my heart. We've had students that it did take them 5 years to graduate from here, but they graduated from here. And there was no shortcuts. We didn't cut out a curriculum for them. They figured it out and just kept grinding. So yeah, as far as students that come from other countries or have language barriers or don't very much English, we'll do everything in our power to give them what they need, whether that's in-class instruction, supplemental videos or software online. In the past, we have hired bilingual paraprofessionals. Actually, one of the first bilingual paraprofessionals we hired was a graduate of the Excel Center, and she actually just reached out and she landed a job at First Source Bank recently. And so not only was she a student, but then she became an Excel Center employee as a bilingual paraprofessional. Now she's got a big time job at a bank. And so just seeing that kind of progression, I think is the perfect example of what we try to do here. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what your abilities are. I don't care what your disabilities are. We're going to give you a shot. And if you're willing to take the shot, we'll keep giving you opportunity after opportunity.
That is awesome. That keeps motivating a lot of people. Like, oh, what about if they don't understand me? Or what about if I don't know how to spell things? What about if with that you pushing that forward? I think many people say, let me try it.
Yeah. And honestly, I've been thinking about this lately a lot. When we first opened, I did a lot to push. There's something called the growth mindset. Carol Dweck is the author behind a lot of those books. And we really pushed this a lot with our staff, and it did become a part of our culture. And I think it still is a part of our culture. But I want to be a bit more intentional about it. My point being, if you don't know how to spell, if you don't know this, if you don't know that, the point is you don't know that right now, but let's try to teach it to you. That's what we're here for, right? And then if we try to teach it to you and you still don't know it, guess what? There's tomorrow. And then there's a day after that. And then there's next. It doesn't matter. I don't care. We'll keep going. If you're willing to keep showing up, those are the students that succeed. Because probably the biggest indicator of a student getting ready to maybe quit the program, quit school, or get discouraged is confidence, I think. They get tired of they get tired of failing. I don't feel like I learn anything if I don't fail. Yep. Because if I never fail, probably means I had things figured out the whole time, right? So, or if I'm not failing, I'm not taking big enough risks. And so where's the growth in that? Mm-hmm. So if we want to grow, we have to be willing to fail. We have to be willing to take a swing, take a shot, and admit when we're wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Failing is the best way to learn, as far as I'm concerned. So if you want to fail, this is the place to be. I'm totally kidding as far as that, for literally, but this is a safe place to be. If you're afraid to fail, come in here and let me teach you how to like it.
Yep.
Because we can do that.
Yeah, like a business owner, they told me once, like if you don't make mistakes right away, or you keep being afraid to make mistakes, you're always going to be in the same spot. But the failure that you do, the more knowledge that you get, because you try that and you're like, oh, it didn't work. Let me try other things, and they might be working. You continue doing it, and you can move forward. So, like you're right. Like the failures, if you fail in something, don't feel like, oh, this is it. I'm not good in it. Look at it like, it's how can I take advantage from that and learn from that and move forward to keep trying forward while you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so let me ask you this other question. How does the COVID-19 affect you guys? How do you guys keep it safe in the school?
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, it did affect us a lot. Actually, on an average day before COVID-19, about 60 to 70% of our students would attend on a daily basis, and that was actually pretty good for Excel centers go. The typical attendance rate is usually in the 50s, maybe 60s is pretty good. So we were doing pretty well as far as comparing us to other Excel centers as far as attendance goes. And we didn't really have online classes because, as I said, like our magic is here in the building. This is where you learn. So March hit last year, and we all were like, wait, what? Now we have to go online. Oh, all right, we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out. So, we've been refining the e-learning. We've been getting better at it as we go. But we have noticed that production has dropped off because we don't have our students in front of us every day to have that accountability of, yep, you got to be here at this class, same time, every day. So a lot of people think that they can do work independently online, but what they don't realize, what I didn't realize before I started having to do it independently online, is you are teaching yourself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If and yes, our teachers give lessons. Our teachers are available for Zooms, for extra office hours, for tutoring, and this and that. But there's just something about in-person instruction that is different. And a lot of our students need more reading skills. And so if a lot of what you're doing is right here on the computer and you're just reading and typing, maybe you don't type very fast. So then you're just like, man, this is going to take forever. I don't want to do this. And so the biggest impact is that, I guess wrapping this up, long story short, is the students who have been able to attend here in person when we've been open have been doing well. And the students that have been trying to do work online have not been nearly as successful as the people coming in. So what we do to keep people safe when they are coming in is we take temperatures of everybody coming in. Everybody must wear a mask at all times. In fact, I would be wearing a mask right now if my office door wasn't closed or if somebody was in here with me. We we record everybody's names, so that way we can do contact tracing if we need to. Each teacher has a seating chart in their classroom. Students are asked to sit in the same spot every time they come to class. So then we can actually do contact tracing appropriately and effectively. We have hand sanitizer, and we have arrows on the floor being marked to kind of help guide traffic and things like that. All of it is just in the name of we're going to do everything we can to make sure students feel safe coming in to the building, because this is where all the magic happens.
All right, guys. Well, you hear that? You guys are safe in the school. He have the team to disinfect and line everything out. They check the temperature, so it's nothing to be scared. Just keep a distance and cover your face, and you'll be safe in the school. Okay, the other question that I had to ask for you, I have many questions, but I'm sure you got a short time, so
it's okay. Go for it.
So how did after let's say after they finish the Excel Center, do you guys have any other guidance to they can go to college or they can continue improving in the future in college?
That's actually part of our 5-year strategic plan. that we just finally finished wrapping up. A long process of basically just reevaluating the organization. Where have we gone and where do we want to go? One of the things that we would like to do better at is supporting our students beyond graduation. And we've got some ideas in the works to make that happen. Really what it comes down to is just manpower right now. We have 4 life coaches on staff that serve about 260 students right now. We have seven teachers on staff that teach our classes, and then a couple other admin outside of that. And then we have our childcare as well. So spreading all of those people thinly across our student body, making sure all of our current students have what they need is a feat in and of itself. So one of the challenges that we face is who would do the graduate tracking, who would collect that data, who would follow up with the graduates, who would be able to help guide them. One big advantage we do have, though, is that we are a part of Goodwill. And Goodwill has career centers all across the area. And actually, one of them is just a mile away from our school. So what we will often do as students get close to graduation or after they've graduated, we'll refer them to the career center, where the career center manager and their staff will help them find employment. They've got connections to jobs in the area. If you need help at the career centers, they'll help you build a resume and a cover letter and all of that stuff. We actually do that here at the Excel Center. So our Excel Center graduates would be going to them with that already done. But then we're also a part of Goodwill, our local Goodwill is incredible. The number of programs they have, like Tech Steps, the Second Chance program, group violence intervention, nurse family partnership. I mean, the list goes on. I don't want to keep listing all of them because I'm sure I'll forget one of them and I don't want to make anybody mad, but everything we do at Goodwill is just absolutely amazing. So we try to leverage those services as much as we can with our students as well. Because again, just the high school diploma isn't going to do you much. You got to have some more support outside of that.
Yeah, that was my second question. After they graduate for Excel Center, they can apply in any college, or is some barriers there?
Yeah, so there really is no limit to where you can go. We've had students get accepted. Like I said, Kent State is a big one. It's probably one of the bigger schools that our students have gone to. We have a student currently taking classes at Bethel University, going for her degree in, I think, math, secondary education. She wants to be a high school math teacher. And you can go anywhere with it. A lot of our students choose to go to Ivy Tech because it's local, and it's a 2-year school that can branch into bigger 4-year schools. So you can get a more equitably priced 2-year degree. And those credits will often transfer to bigger universities as well. So there's no limits on what this diploma will do for you. If you're willing to beef up your college applications and resumes, if you will, as you would be a normal high school student. I guess theoretically speaking, there's nothing stopping an Excel Center graduate from applying to Harvard. It would be a heck of a mountain to climb because we don't have all the extracurriculars that impress schools like that and things like that. But there's nothing stopping somebody from going that route.
The only thing they stop is themselves, right? If you don't go for it.
Yeah. Because this is the same. This is looked at as the exact same diploma as any student that we'll get from Clay High School or Washington High School this year, or whatever, any Indiana high school. This Core 40 diploma is the same Core 40 diploma as all the rest of them.
Okay. So, in your experience, how many doors you open when you get this diploma for yourself? How many doors you think is open for you?
Well, there's a lot of doors that open up. Even in the military, there are some jobs that you can join the military without a high school diploma, but to get the good jobs in the military, usually you have to have a high school diploma. So anywhere ranging from that to, we're looking at an economy right now that it's tough to know what it's going to be doing. We're also looking at possible legislation that might raise the national minimum wage. And so if employers have to pay people more money, they're going to be looking a lot harder at what credentials you have.
Yep. And
a lot of the people right now who don't have high school diplomas, they're going to start getting edged out of the workforce for people who do. And again, we've had a really strong economy for a while, and it hasn't been very difficult to get a job without a high school diploma. But even then, I would tell people, do you want a job or do you want a career? And if you want a career, the first step is a high school diploma. You got to get that under your belt. You can go anywhere from there. You can go to colleges. You can go to, you can access different trainings. There are some, we've actually had to make special agreements with some of our certification partners to accept our students because they require a high school diploma. So if you want, say, I don't know if this is exactly true with welding, but just say, for example, if you want a welding certification and you're not an Excel Center student, a lot of the time, depending on the trainer, you have to have a high school diploma even to access that training.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, the doors that open up are just, I mean, I can't count them. There's a lot.
There's many doors that they can open, and you keep pushing forward and you achieve your goals. The other question that I'm going to have, and I think we're going to wrap it up. So I don't want to steal a lot of your time because you're a busy man, and I don't want to waste it.
No problem.
So tell us 3 things that you like to do. Like, what book do you read, or any book that you recommend to read?
Good question. I like stuff that I'm not a big nonfiction, or I'm sorry, I'm not a big fiction fan. I'm a big nonfiction fan. I like stuff that I can apply at work, my family life, and I like stuff that makes me think and rethink. So any book by Malcolm Gladwell, he is amazing at taking what you think you know about an idea and providing a different perspective on it. And for me, that kind of thinking helps guide my leadership because I don't know everything. Sometimes I think I don't know anything. But I take a lot of pride and comfort in knowing that I am not married to my ideals in any way, shape, or form. Because if you present me with some evidence that can change my mind, I can change my mind. But you need to present me with some evidence. So anything Malcolm Gladwell, and going along those lines, I'm actually reading a book that came out recently called Think Again by Adam Grant. I've gotten through the first 3 or 4 chapters so far, but it's basically just kind of along the same lines. It's challenging the reader to drop what they think is true for the sake of learning more. And again, it's that don't be afraid to be wrong. In fact, from my perspective, it looks worse if you're wrong and won't admit it than it does if you're wrong and you're like, oh yeah, I learned something. People can respect the latter. Mm-hmm. I have a hard time respecting people who are wrong and can't admit it, or can't even have the conversation about it. Because if they're wrong and can't admit it, who's saying they're wrong? Me? Well, how do I know I'm right? And so you just go in that. If you really want to go in that circle, it won't stop. Yep. So really, at the end of the day, just listen to people. And figure out what makes them tick, and figure out what their passion is, what their intention is. And I think a lot of the issues that we have just kind of melt away when you look at each person as an individual. So, stuff that makes you think. That's what I like to read.
There we go. What is your hobby and your pastime?
I love playing baseball. That's been ever since. I've actually played baseball every summer since I was 5 years old, including even last summer. I played in a Goshen men's league last summer. And before that, I played in the South Bend Mexican American League for about 5 years. Before that, I played in a wood bat league in town. Before that, I played in high school and all that stuff. I'm what they call the weekend warrior. I'm going to keep pitching and throwing until this arm falls off. So
there you go.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so what is your favorite restaurant that you like? Oh, this is the one that I love, that you recommend, and people they might.
Oh man, before COVID hit, I used to eat out a lot, which is probably why I lost a little weight after COVID hit too. But one of my favorite places, if I'm getting lunch at work, close to the west side over here, it's tough to beat a burrito at Rosales Plaza, or Fat Bird downtown just recently opened up. Their chicken is phenomenal. It depends on what food I want too. Cambodian Thai downtown has a great pad Thai. I mean, yeah, I could shout out restaurants all day. I can eat, man. So, yeah, that could be a whole separate podcast as far as I'm concerned.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so the last thing to wrap it up, what 3 things that you recommend people to do to improve and not do the things that is going to hurt them in the long run?
Well, these aren't things that to do necessarily, but 3 things to keep in mind. I feel like, and actually, I am trying to raise my kids with these values as well. It's empathy, adaptability, and strength. You have to be able to empathize with people because you have to know where they're coming from to really understand them. You have to be able to adapt because as much as we want it to, the world doesn't change around us. We have to change around the world, the environment around us. And then you also have to be strong too, because as much as you need to adapt, you have to have a firm, solid foundation on your beliefs and where you stand in the world. And so you have to exhibit strength when necessary too. So I think if you can understand other people, be a little flexible, but also stand your ground, you're going to have a pretty good time. You're going to have an easier time succeeding in whatever you're trying. And things to avoid: don't talk when other people are talking. Maybe that's just a pet peeve of mine as a teacher, especially. But I always operate on the mindset, if somebody else is talking, it's because they think they have something to tell me that I don't know. And I like to learn. So I'm not going to learn if I'm talking. I'm going to learn when other people are talking.
Okay, well, I think we have a lot of information about the Excel Center, guys. If you guys struggle to want to improve in your life, get a diploma, or trying to continue going to the school because you are older, that's not true. Remember, we have here in Excel Center older than 75 or 74. You say 74, right? The older guy.
Yes. Yeah.
74. And also, if you struggle because you don't have a babysitter or anything like that, they provide that for you. So don't worry. Just if you're motivated enough and you want to improve in your life, just go to Excel Center. And also, they have the boss and the money guys that they give. So just in case if you struggle with money right now because COVID-19, or you don't have your job, or you don't have that many hours in your job, Excel Center will help you. So anything else you want to add up before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me showcase what we do here at the Excel Center. I've been born and raised in South Bend my whole life, and I'm just really happy to be a part of something that's creating to the growth of our city. So yeah, thanks, Alonzo.
No, thank you. Can you repeat again, like a website or phone number so they can go there and trying to check it out?
Yeah, you bet. So our website is www.excelcenterhs.org. Select the South Bend School to apply to our location. And our phone number is 574-314-5570. Call us anytime for questions.
There you go, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and share it with the community so you can help other people. You never know when you helping somebody to change their lives just by little things that you change and say to them. So see you in the next episode.
If you're in the Michiana area and would like to have us put your business or story out there for everyone to hear, sign up at michianabusinesspodcast.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.